Hi, it is iYikKam time again. So I got a message, a very interesting one, asking me how do I know so much about Wing Chun and how one supposed to study Wing Chun so one can really learn Wing Chun basic. So here I like to share with you, okay, a few key points here. Hopefully this can be helpful for you and serve as a reference. And actually, it doesn't matter if study Wing Chun or technology or anything, it is the same pattern, okay? So the first key is if you want to study something, don't be cheap and also don't be ignorant, okay? Because it is an investment. Study is also an investment, okay? Don't be cheap. So say if we want to go to Harvard University or Stanford University, that costs a lot, right? Tuition fee is a lot of money there, okay? But you know that if you go there, you have a top world-class professor to teach you, okay? So if one can afford, one want to spend money that way, okay? And that is just reality. The professor need to make a living, and the subject need to be researched, and all funding, a lot of things need the financial support. So it is not cheap. So don't be cheap, okay? And for example, all these books here, technology books, every 2 years or so, all this book, there's a whole bunch of books in this room, it will be replaced, and each book is $200-300. It need to be replaced because technology changes, okay? So it is an investment. Don't be cheap, okay? Another thing is don't be ignorant, okay? Because people do get ripped off when study Chinese martial arts, okay? Somebody will say, come study with me, live with me, okay, teach for me, and then you don't take a salary, and you do after this much year, and then you just go teach by your own, okay? Or you can see a lot of those things like mimic the movie, those kind of stuff. And then the teacher will post like know-it-all, okay? Well, don't get into that, okay? This is a 21st century. You look around, okay? People don't do those kind of stuff. And doing those kind of stuff is end up that being ripped off, joining a cult or something. Again and again, I say that we want to be like university. Everything is upfront, is clear. You go to Stanford, you want to study electrical engineering, you pay this much, you have this professor to teach you what, okay? And not being like a slave in the Chinese kung fu movie, and also don't be a cash machine for somebody who take advantage of people. But it's the same thing you can see in a lot of university, right? If people is not have no understanding on university, there are university which is also not proper, okay? So that has to be watch out, okay? You want to spend your money wisely. It is an investment, okay? So if you invest it properly, you will get a lot of returns. If you don't invest it properly, you can get con at, okay? This is the reality of our living, our society in this era, okay? So be careful for that, and never trust people who, any master or grandmaster will tell you, oh, you know what, you study with me, now you will be the best. and or you study with me, okay? I know all this internal and all this thing, and then I have this lineages and everything. Don't. Why? Look at those in the Stanford University or Massachusetts Institute of Technology, those top technologies in the world. They don't think that way, they don't do that way. And in fact, there's no such thing as knowing all, the grandmaster of all. None, okay? That's reality. The second thing is work hard, okay? One need to really put effort in what one is doing, okay? For example, if we're going to run marathon, okay, then we have to focus on to train how to run the marathon and how to win in marathon running, right? Now, then that means that every day we have to do the core activity to realize that, that focus, which is running marathon. So we're going to run marathon 20 hours a day, or whenever we are awake, we think about, oh, how can I run this marathon? How can I improve this? How can I improve that? Even though we are not on the road, but we keep thinking of it. Okay, the Chinese have a saying of this. They say that in order for one to master something, one must work hard, meaning that one must think on this subject and practice the subject on bed, when one is walking, and even when one is in the toilet. Okay, so the ancient Chinese saying that whether one is really focused and working on to make the thing happen or not is you look at the person. Did he talk the same thing in the subject while he's walking, while he's sleeping, while he is going to the restroom? If he did, then that means this guy is going to be good, okay? Because he is so focused, and then he pay attention and he execute on the key actions, okay? Because it's only action can make one really learn something, okay? So there is no substitutions of working hard, okay? And everything need to be examined. Every technique has to be rehearsed, repeat, and questions, and think about it, and so forth. It takes years and years, and it takes thousands of hours for this kind of stuff, okay? And one need to work hard. Also, one need to know this key point. This usually people don't bring this out, but I want you to really watch out for this, okay? Thinking cannot understand the reality in a state. Thinking cannot understand the reality in the state. So what I mean? State mean, like for example, we are awake, we are asleep, okay? Asleep, at sleep is a state, awake is a state. Now, if one never sleep before, no matter how much you read, how much you mimic sleeping, you will never know what is happening when you are asleep, when you are within the state of sleep. Okay. A lot of Kung Fu practitioners today, and also a lot of engineers, they have no idea that this state exists. So they keeping thinking, well, if I read this much, I mimic this much, then I'll know it, right? Wrong. One need to be able to get to that state to be able to see what it is there. Okay? So to get to the state needs energy. Okay, so those of you who knows solid state physics know that from an electron go from one state to the other state, you need energy. Okay, Working hard, the action taken is needed because one to get one from one state to the other state, so that one understands what is in this other state. And of course, the given is that one need to have a proper process. So one need to have a proper process, one keeping repeat that, and examine that, observe that, train in that, then one can get into the state. So if, as the first key point, that if we are not cheap, we go to, say, Stanford, we study in electronic engineering, we take the class there, okay, we pay, of course we get the proper process. If we work hard, and some days we be able to get what? To get the insight of that particular state. And only at that state one can say, well, I'm an electronic engineer and now I can design. Because they can see things differently, which is book reading cannot do it. You cannot just go solve all the equations in the or the problem in the electronic engineering books to be in that state. You have to be in there, working hard, solving the problem, thinking, observing, refining, all kinds of stuff in order to get there. And then sometimes we don't even get it. So we need to go to see a teacher to help us to understand our blind spot. And so the Chinese have the saying too. If you read 1,000 books, you can understand, then it's a time that you go to travel 1,000 miles to find the teacher who can point out your issue and who you can learn with. This is what it is. Okay, so stop complaining. Oh, I read this book, how come I don't understand? I'm confused. I watch this video. Forget about it. Those kind of stuff don't even start the first step of hard working yet. Okay. And speaking to a teacher, the third key is don't be a know-it-all. Okay, don't be a know-it-all. Often in study of martial arts or in even in technology, there are juniors when the senior tell them something, they will say, oh, I know that too. Okay, oh, my ex-teacher teach me that too. Oh, I know this fudging. No, I know this too. Okay, that is just showing one is really surface. The reason why one go to see a teacher is because one want the insight of that teacher, and one want to develop one's own insight. Okay, and this I'm speaking on like people who already have a very firm foundations. Okay, so one go to the see teacher is because if some cannot break through certain thing in the problem solving or handling the techniques, one need to see the teacher, because the teacher who is good in that field will have the insight to help one break it through. And for one to be a real master of handling in that particular field, okay, not every field, that particular field, because there's no such thing as know-it-all, right? Is that one need to have the hard work and the insight of the teacher, which is helping us to get into the state, and then we develop our own insight. So one have a different way of looking at things, like a design architect. You go to New York, you look at all this building, okay, and every building have their own style, have their own way to design it. And the architect, for sure, they have their insight, different insight. That's why they can have different style. Okay, and so if you've been saying that, well, I know it all, well, first of all, there's no such thing in this world as know it all. None. You go watch Stanford University, go to Massachusetts Institute of Technology, you go to UC Berkeley and everything, you see, is there anyone who know it all? No such thing. But you can see all of them have different type of insight. They have Sometimes they have a general insight, which is everybody have this insight when they are at that state or that mastery. And then some of them even have a very different genuine insight. Okay, those are the real master of that particular field. So it is naive and ignorance when you go to some teacher, like to show off and say, I know this, my ex-teacher told me this, and those stuff. You're not going to learn anything, because people who have insight will not love to waste their time on this kind of thing. When people who have insight, it's like the Zen monk. They say, my finger is using to point at the moon. I have no time to waste my time to discuss the nonsense theory. Okay, go to any Zen patriarchs. Those who post like they know it all and cite this scripture, that scripture, the Chinese Zen patriarch would say this is a garbage collector. Okay, serious. They call them garbage collector. This is called talking Zen, garbage collector. The real guy is simple. When you meet a Zen master, he say, okay, show me your insight. You show them your insight. They say, okay, here, you can improve. And because of this, you can break through. And if you follow that, often just for one instant, you click, you jump from one state to the other state. Sometimes you cannot get that because your hard work is not enough. So you have to go back and reevaluate and rework and a lot of things. Okay? That's how it is. So there's only three key in study. If you really want to be expert, I don't want to talk about master, because master is some kinds of terms we don't want to use. Okay? If you want to be really expert in your field and really know something, then you need to be knowing that this is an investment. Invest wise. Don't be cheap and don't be ignorant. Okay? Because nothing will come from nothing. Okay? If you want something, you better pay something. Okay? The second thing is work hard. Without working hard, you're not going to travel from one state to the other state. You will not do that. Okay? Desire is no good. Talk is no good. 24 hours in the forum talking is no good. As those who run in marathon, they focus, they want to run marathon, 24 hours they are thinking about the marathon and working on it. Okay, that's hard work. The third thing is don't be know-it-all. Because those who really have insight will not like to speak with the know-it-all, who mostly the know-it-all people are ego people. They cannot accept who they are and they try to be bigger than who they are. And as for the people who have insight, they know they cannot be everything. They have their field of their expertise. Okay? And whoever being know-it-all to a seafood, of course, gonna piss people off. Say, why do I want to waste time for this kind of people? He's not going to listen. He's going to say whatever I say. He's going to say that he know it too. Why bother, right? So study is about this. And why do I know Wing Chun? Because when I was young, when I heard of different sifu, I go visit. Sometimes just because I need to learn how to breathe. Like in China, sifu said, you with me $500 US. This is years ago. When 500 US in China is a lot of money. I said, okay, fine. Okay. And when we travel in Asia, just go to the bookstore to buy all the books, which is rare. So when I come back to US, you can see my luggage. There are 2-3 luggage, they are all books. Of course, many books will get thrown away later on because this is not useful. But there's something which is useful, okay, then that is gold. And also, the reason why I be able to read all this thing ancient is because when I was 18 years old, I go copy the Lotus Sutra within 60 days. Okay, sitting down there 3 hours a day for 60 days at night when all my friend is waiting for me, having this scramble motorbike to go around, sightseeing or talk to some pretty girls and so forth. You stand there, sitting down there 60 days to get the Lotus Sutra done. And when you get that done, it's a different story. That's why I can read a lot of classical stuff, because a lot of things based on Buddhism in the classic, okay? And then you can remember, okay? And also, I used to be playing this knowitall too. When I met my Sifu, Grandmaster of Venerable Xuan Hua in City 10,000 Buddhas, I was keeping telling him about all the sutra stuff, because remember, I copied the sutra, I recite it, I can memorize a lot of things. And he told me, shut up. In front of me, in front of many people, in the hall, lecture hall. He told me, shut up. And he said, if death come to you right now, do you have handling? And I shut up. Well, I have a choice at that time. I go away, I left him, or I know I have no handle on if death come today at the instance. So I need to learn. I need to study. So the same with martial arts. Okay, people, there's a lot of things. It's keeping refine, and sometimes we screw up, and then you say, oh yeah, this is not true. Okay. And the reason why I know all this so-called quote-unquote internal art stuff, why is it screw up, is because I'm there too. As in the Silicon Valley, I learned design, analog design, from some guru, many gurus in the valley, okay, which is now retired or passed away now. And I'm not going to drop the name here, but I'm going to tell you this, okay? These are top people. And one time I learned this from this top guru, which is the father of the analog circuit design and chips in the valley. This is years ago, okay, when I was a rookie design engineer. I said, oh no, I really admire you. How can you learn so much? You know so much. You have so much insight. And he told me this. So Hendrik, I know this because I'm making a lot of F up. Okay, the 4-letter F up all my life. I have much more screw up than you. That's why I know this. So if something go wrong, change it. Change the right directions. Okay? So that's how learning is about. There's no gimmick, there's no shortcut. It is blood and sweat. Okay? And put focus and actions. There's no way using desire with no action, no follow-up can get one anyway. Okay? So this is for you today.